This is not a hit video. I am saying that in advance. And I know by the very fact that I have to say that I'm noting that the words are coming out of my mouth in a way that I articulate it, that it means that what's coming up is going to come across as somewhat critical, even though it is not. In the same way, it wasn't wrong for David Sirota to kind of put the tweet out about the amount of money Beto O'Rourke gets from oil and gas companies. It was perfectly fine tweet. The tweet wasn't critical. The tweet was just, here's the amount of money that Beto gets. But people looked at it and say there was an insinuation just based on the very fact that he noted this is the amount of money that he gets. Somewhat near they call it dangerous. It's dangerous to note that Beto is getting all of this money from oil and gas, the second most in Congress. Pursuant to that, this is not an attack on Justice Democrats. I need to stress that. I need to overtly, dramatically, as with all the powers in my being, get that across. If there was a candidate that was in my district that was running for Justice Democrats, they would probably get my vote, because oftentimes they trend further to the left than the corporate Democrats, not to mention not taking campaign cash and that type of stuff. So one of my subscribers asked to look at the numbers on this, and so let's do that. Let's look at the numbers. Paula Jean Swearengin, who I actually liked, she was a Justice Democrat. She was not magnificently helped by being a Justice Democrat. Let's look at the numbers. So this is Open Secrets. Open Secrets is a beautiful thing. So Justice Democrats raised $2,629. $2,629,638. Not too shabby for an organization that just started. They spent $2,443,706. Again, they spent what they got. That's what they're supposed to do. They left with cash on hand of $185,962. Now, the interesting part, though, is right here. The contributions to the candidates. They only contributed $48,166 to the candidates. Where's my calculator? Where's my calculator? I use my calculator when I need to do math, of course. What is that? So 48,166 divided by 2,629,638. What does that give me? So 1%, well, 2%, let's be generous, of the money that they received went towards directly to the candidates. We can look at the recipients, and some of these names will be easily familiar to you. Ocasio-Cortez, for example, she brings in $5,000. Good on Ocasio-Cortez. Paula Swearengin got $16. Why bother? Why bother? Did you give her $16 just to say you were giving her something? Hey, we gave her something. $16. All right, fair enough. Woodall or Brent, I mean, they had a list of candidates. But a very low percentage of money going to the candidates. Now, when you look at what they were spending the money on, some of this makes perfect sense. If you're an organization, you got to keep the lights on. You got to pay the staff. You got to, meaning there's a certain amount of money that has to go into just to keep the lights on, just to keep the operation running. So fair enough. Accountant, administrative, and also to be fair, on the second point, when you're first starting, there's a startup cost, meaning there's a certain amount of money just to get going and just to kind of keep the thing going. And then once you get over a certain bar, at that point, you can start spending more on the thing. From my own example, there's a certain amount that it takes just to keep the lights on. And then once you get beyond and you pop your head up, you're like, all right, what else can I do with the organization? What else can I do? Looking at it from my channel standpoint, once you get above a certain point, it's like, all right, how can I put that back into the channel? So, again, I'm not being overtly critical here, even though me mentioning this and bringing up the cash part feels that way. It's not. It's just, that just seems low. 2% going to the candidates just seems magnificently low. Rent, utilities, $23,000, not a huge amount for that. Fundraising, consulting, $269,000, that got a pretty decent share. Wages, a little bit less than half. A third, a little bit less than a third. Campaign strategy and communications consulting, $668,000. Campaign data technology, $900. Didn't take much for the campaign data and technology. Unclassified printing labels, apparently printing and shipping was more than the amount they spent on campaign data technology. Accountants, compliance, of course, got to stay legal. Administrative and data technologies, rent, utilities. Like I said, it takes a certain amount just to keep the lights on. Administrative, event expenses, and food. Contributions to federal candidates. See, now this doesn't make sense. Right here it says $23,000, but here it says $48,000. Either way. Top vendors and recipients. Brand New Congress gets $605,000. Middle Seat Consulting gets $280,000. Automatic Data Processing gets $228,000. Act Blue Technologies pulls in a decent haul of $87,000. Trent Corbin, I guess these are the workers. We All Walk Dogs gets $44,000. Good on We All Walk Dogs. Administrative Business Services gets $50,000. Candidates, particularly Paula Swearengin, $16. They must have thought she was just going to lose. In which case they'll probably thought, why are we giving money to a candidate who we think is going to lose? But if you don't invest in a candidate, you definitely can't win. Again, noting the money is not being critical. It's just kind of low. 2% is just kind of low. But I knew nothing about this. One of my subscribers, Steven, actually, he has a channel, Slow News Day, brought this to my attention. It was like, hey, can you look at these numbers? It looks a little dodgy. Paula Swearengin gets $16. That seems messed up. It does seem a little low, but again, giving them the benefit of the doubt. There's a certain startup cost, and once you're above that startup cost, then you can start investing a little bit more into the candidates. I will reach out for comment from Justice Democrats to see if they respond, but open secrets, I put it at the bottom so you can see for yourself, make your own judgments. Let's see who's here. Somebody else may have context. Created Ocasio-Cortez, Ojeda. That's who wrote Sanders' scripts. Who are you talking about? Never saw the point in think tanks. Well, think tanks do have a point. I mean, they do shift behavior and shift public thought. So it's not fully. Is this live? Yes, it's live. All right, I'm going to end this because I have one more video that I want to do on what is his name? Jeremy Corbyn and Prime Minister questions. So if you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through PayPal or Patreon. Thanks all. Justice Democrats have no shot until the deep state is defeated, but even then, Justice Democrats is infiltrated by some candidates with ties to the CIA. I think their thing is, if you're running and you are not receiving corporate donations or donations from corporate sources, let's say PACs and so forth, that you have a much better chance of representing the interests of your constituents as opposed to representing the interests of the people who are putting money in your pocket. I don't disagree with him on that. I actually agree with him fully on that. I don't think you get a better world, or I don't think you move the country to the left if people have objectives that go beyond the objective of the office. Meaning, representing your constituents becomes a lesser priority, or there's a competing priority with representing the people who are stuffing money into your G-string and shoving you out there to talk to audiences. So I don't disagree with him on that. And again, me bringing this up, it's not, it comes across as critical, but it's not any more than David Sirota bringing up the fact that Beto is flush with money for oil money. So, you know, it is what it is. But the candidates getting 2% just seems low. I could be wrong, but it just seems really low. All right, I'll end this here. I'll be back with Yohimbi, so don't go anywhere. I have a video coming up within 5 minutes. Thanks all.